President Trump emerging from the plane with these 3 released prisoners from North Korea. Now, Mr. Trump had promised quite a scene when Kim Dong-chul, Kim Hak-song and Tony Kim returned. This is a scene which was frankly unthinkable, wasn't it, just a year ago?
Completely unthinkable. I mean, there was no question. There's obviously been many people working for the release of these 3 detainees for a long time, but such a rapid turnaround to find that they're now released and back on American soil.
I mean, a huge triumph for President Trump and a symbol of the warming relations between the United States and North Korea. And just a day, of course, after he tore up the Iran nuclear deal, which he's come in for a lot of criticism for. But these pictures are ones that he will revel in, because this must be an experience that those 3 prisoners thought may not come, held on suspicion of hostile acts or espionage, spying charges. 2 of them held for a year, and 1 of them detained for 3 years. Absolutely extraordinary, a great triumph. Harry Horton is watching these pictures with us. Harry, just talk to us about these 3 US citizens, why they were in North Korea, and what an extraordinary moment it is for them now to be back home.
Yeah, absolutely. It is an extraordinary moment, and President Trump determined to capitalize on it, making a big show of their return, a big welcome home ceremony for them. President Trump, the First Lady Melania Trump, and the Vice President Mike Pence all traveling to that airbase in the middle of the night here in Washington to welcome them back home. And the White House is saying, look, they really do view this as a positive gesture from North Korea that suggests that if those talks between President Trump and Kim Jong-un go ahead in a few weeks' time, as we expect, that they can possibly lead to a positive outcome and possibly even denuclearization by North Korea.
One of these detainees had been sentenced to 10 years of hard labour. Let's just have a listen to what President Trump's saying.
It's really attributed to a lot of things, including a certain process that's taking place right now. And that process is very important. So we will see what happens. We have a meeting scheduled in a very short period of time. You'll be hearing about it soon. We have the location set, and we will see if we can do something that people did not think was going to happen for many, many years, and a lot of bad things could have happened in between. So I just want to say this is a special night for these 3 really great people, and congratulations on being in this country.
An extraordinary moment there. He's clearly thinking this is the beginning of that summit, saying that the time is set, the location is set. We'll hear about the schedule of it to come. And this was the goodwill gesture that I guess everyone was hoping would pave the way for talks and that would lead to some kind of peace.
Harry, what do we know at this moment about those talks?
Well, we know that there is, as we've just heard from the President, there is a location, a date and a time set for those talks. President Trump says he will reveal that in the next few days. We know that it isn't going to be in the demilitarized zone in between North Korea and South Korea, where those 2 leaders met just a few weeks ago. There is strong speculation here in the United States that the meeting will be held in Singapore. But certainly from the White House's point of view, they think this is, there's some real positive momentum now going into those talks, and they're incredibly optimistic that they can be different from previous talks where they have failed. They think they can succeed now and hopefully get North Korea to a position where they're genuinely considering agreeing to denuclearization.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we saw the war of words in the build-up to this, President Trump, which everybody said, or a lot of people said, was inflammatory and dangerous. And now we're looking at this moment. It makes you think about what we've been talking about over the last few days, his withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal, the nuclear proliferation deal. Makes you think that tough action, maybe that isn't the disastrous course that many people are saying.
A victory in getting rid of
Yeah, absolutely. And President Trump is trying to take a lot of credit for his strategy towards North Korea, which was to increase that rhetoric, to apply heavy sanctions on North Korea, lots of pressure. And President Trump believes that that strategy is what's drawn North Korea to the negotiating table now. So, yes, perhaps he might try and use a similar strategy with Iran. But, yeah, this middle of the night ceremony, this televised welcome home for these detainees, this is President Trump trying to showcase what he sees as a big foreign policy victory for him. And, it's worth saying these prisoners as well are in good condition. They seem to be walking themselves. So certainly a very happy President Trump at the moment.
Absolutely right. And 3 very relieved men and their families. I can imagine that your hope pretty much dims if you're sentenced to 10 years hard labour in North Korea, but they are home.